Hello and welcome to Pro Home Inc.'s Housing Counselor's Corner, where each month we produce a short video discussing different topics such as home buying, housing counseling, and financial literacy. I'm Paul Chase, the Managing Director for Pro Home, along with Program Manager Terry Arruda, and of course our video series executive producer Leslie Rhoda. And today we have special guest Kristen Reed Ariano of First Home Mortgage. So before we begin, I'd like to remind our viewers that the opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of Pro Home Inc. Also, this program is for entertainment purposes only, and if you should consider contacting Pro Home, please do so directly at 508-824-2514 when it comes to your specific real estate or counseling needs. So let's get started, and what I'd like to do today, a little bit different, is I'd like to have Terry begin this conversation and have a conversation with Kristen on the financial literacy program.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Kristen, for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
So let's do a little bit of overview of the program that we have for
Okay.
financial literacy. Let's talk about the different modules.
Sure. So, as we were talking about before we started, there are 14 different modules, and it kind of touches upon most any aspect of financial literacy that you could want to in preparing to purchase a home, right? It goes all the way from kind of looking at how your values influence the way you spend your money up into buying your first home, and then even going on to extend a little bit beyond that to talk about some of the expenses you have after you buy a home. What can you do to prepare for those things that you don't know are coming when you buy a home, right? There's a lot of talk about what to do to buy that home, but I like this one because it kind of talks about also keeping money around and being prepared for the fun things that we all know as homeowners come out of nowhere, right? So 14 modules that kind of go over various topics, preparing for all aspects of your home buying adventure, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Which ones do you find are most helpful for a lot of people coming to see you?
So everyone who takes this course is obviously their goal is to buy a home, buy probably their first home. Yeah. So I think that the most important things here are, and I'm saying important because I think these are the aspects where people are a little misled when it comes to home buying. So that's your credit report and your credit scores, using credit cards, making housing decisions, buying a home, and then, like I said, the disaster and the financial preparation for the actual act of owning your home. So, yeah, they touch a lot on things like savings and spending and everything like that, which is very important, but I think the ones that I just highlighted are particularly important because those are the ones where people have the most misinformation.
Yeah.
Right?
Or are not necessarily thinking about.
Correct.
Not prepared for.
Correct, exactly. Like, I'm sure, I mean, if I don't hear, oh, but I thought you needed 20% down to buy a house once a week, I wouldn't be in my job, right?
Right.
So, that I think a really good thing this course does is kind of root out some of those pieces of misinformation that potential home buyers have been fed over the years and help them actually focus on a legitimate plan to buy a home. Yeah.
So how long do you think it would be for someone that was looking to buy a home that it would take to go through the process of credit scores? Or
Sure. I mean, it all depends on where they are when we jump off with them, right? I've worked with people who I've seen their credit scores in the 400s, which is very low.
Yeah.
And then I have people who come
seen
in
that
with,
yet.
It's rare. It's rare. And typically, another thing that I like to make sure people understand is a low credit score is not a reflection on you as a person.
Right.
It's not, a moral
Yeah.
judgment on anyone. I think when I do see borrowers come to me with low credit scores like that, they're apologetic, they're embarrassed, and that's not what you need to feel.
Right.
And that, I think, is an important part of this. Like, something we talk about in class a lot is the emotional side of spending, right? Because that is a big part of it. And buying a house doesn't get much more emotional than that, right? That's where you put your family. That's where you bring your kids home. I think that, weeding out some of these misconceptions is a big part and an important part in going forward. And once you do that with people, I think it's a very quick process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the concerns that I see a lot of is people getting car payments. They're pretty large these days.
Oh, I've seen car payments completely get people out of a purchase point that they want to be in regularly. I've seen people come in with car loans that are more than they make in a year.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, but again, that goes back to kind of the emotional side of things, you know what I mean? Once you do start making some money in this world, you know, you want to go get a new car because you've always wanted a new car.
Yes.
So something I think that this course does well is it helps you kind of determine reality in order to afford what you want for your home.
Who do you think it benefits, the program?
Honestly, I think it could benefit most anyone, particularly first-time home buyers, obviously, because they haven't been through the rigmarole of getting a mortgage, you know, being told your credit might not be so hot. Here's what you realistically have to have in the bank, et cetera, et cetera. Because people just don't know these things.
Right.
So while everyone can benefit, I think particularly first-time home buyers are going to have advantage from this program more than anyone else.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in because I like you said, I think it could be for anyone, but it can also be for any person's at that point in life. Like this is helpful for someone that might be looking to purchase a home in the next 6 months, but this is also great for someone that might be looking in 5 years, right? Or 7 years, because they're now beginning their preparation of, you know, building their credit and doing all the things they need to do to get that house. And sometimes it takes a few years. And I'm sure as a mortgage person, you see that all the time, right? You say, okay, you might not be ready right now, but let's work together because over the next 2 years, we can get you in that position.
100%.
And this type of financial literacy program is kind of designed to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I think managing expectations is a big part of what I do. People come in thinking they want to spend X amount of dollars and they're nowhere near being able to spend X amount of dollars. So we help them rein those in and or get to where they are able to spend that, right? And to your point, also, you're saying, you know, people planning and it also might be beneficial to people who just haven't done it in a while.
Right.
Like, I think of my parents, if they went to go buy a house now, they would be like, well, we need 20% down, you know, because that's what they, you know, they're boomers, so that's what they were taught. But now they have no idea there are all these programs that require so much less.
Yeah.
And, or, you know, people who have had a house or something before, they maybe haven't looked at their credit in years.
Right.
They don't know what's going on with it because they haven't had to utilize it. So
it could be a good refresher
it
course.
could be. Yeah,
For people that do
exactly.
own a home.
That's exactly right.
I think it's great for students as well, as people are coming out of high school.
Absolutely.
Programs there.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've talked about this before. There's just not enough financial programs in school. You know, I mean, there are some schools that do pretty good job with a particular financial class, but there's nothing extensive, and this really could help kids coming out of high school, perhaps going into college.
Absolutely. It made me think while you were saying that of the fact that, you know, I get quite frequently, I talk to people who have just graduated college and are in their first job who are just like, well, I'll see what I need to do. And it's like, well, did you know you can use your education as that 2-year job history, right? In order to qualify. People don't know these things, right? Yeah. It's very interesting.
That's great.
Well, you seem to have a passion for it.
I do enjoy what I do, actually. Yeah, I really do.
So-
I like working with first-time home buyers, too, because those are the ones who are like, you know, they've been dreaming about it and they don't know what to do. So it's really nice and fulfilling to help people do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, before we wrap up today, I know, you know, First Home Mortgage, which is who you work with.
That is correct.
Is a sponsor of our financial literacy program at
We
Pro Home
are
Inc.
indeed.
So I'd like to give you a minute just to talk a little bit about First Home Mortgage.
You know, I'm a nerd and I love my branch. I'm one of those rare people who really does like what they do and really likes who I work with and everything. We specialize, we're based out of Seekonk, Massachusetts, so not far from you guys, obviously. And because of the pandemic, we also, you know, have learned to work remotely. So we work with people all over the state. If you look up Massachusetts Housing Authority, we're one of their top lenders always. We do a lot of work with them. I love our job. I love our company. It's a real pleasure to work for them. So being a sponsor and being here on their behalf is a real treat for me.
And we appreciate
Yeah.
the sponsorship.
Oh, absolutely.
Because all the sponsorships and community donations we get help to keep Pro Home going and doing the housing counseling that we try to do.
Yeah,
all of
you guys do a
Southeastern
lot of great
Massachusetts.
work.
Well,
Thank you.
You do, absolutely.
Terry
It's a
does
pleasure
all
to
the
work with you
lifting.
guys. Yeah.
So it's it's
Yeah.
a team effort, but Terry's our program manager. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming on today.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
guys for having me.
Really
It was a pleasure.
appreciate
it.
Yep.
Terry, great job as usual.
Thank you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks,
And,
Terry.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. So I'd like to thank Kristen Reed Ariano for the from First Home Mortgage for joining us today. And until next time, our staff at Pro Home Inc. is available to talk with you one-on-one about your variety of housing, counseling, and financial literacy issues, many times at no cost to you. If you would like more information on our agency, simply log on to www.prohomeinc.org or go to our Facebook page at Pro Home Inc. You can also contact the agency for further information or to make an appointment at 508-824-2514. Again, we serve the greater Taunton and southeastern Massachusetts area. Thanks for watching, and we hope you will all tune in again next month to Pro Homes Inc.'s Housing Counselors Corner. Have a wonderful day.